Hi, everyone. I'm Adrian.
And I'm Marco.
Welcome to
Remember Together. In this episode, we reflect on love, death, and the ways we learn to hide ourselves, uncovering how our wounds carry more than we know, including the impulse toward connection, healing, and being fully seen. Hey Adriano.
Yeah. A little medicine to arrive.
Yeah. Well, it's going to take a second to welcome you, to welcome everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to be here. It's nice to arrive.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll start by sharing something that's like it's an invitation for you also, because as I was sitting this morning, I I had a memory come back to me that was really warm, which is that when I was a young child, I probably was, I don't know, 5, I think, roughly. And I remember coming across a photograph that really impressed me. And this photograph, you probably remember too, which was you and me sitting on our mom's bed. And you were wearing probably these tiny little, like, car sneakers. And we were tiny. So the photograph was from years before when I first realized seeing this picture. And in the picture, you and me were on our mom's bed, and you were behind me. We were sitting together, like I was sitting in your lap. And it moved me so much when I was whatever 5, because I really saw that you loved me. Like I realized that you were my older brother who actually cared about me. And it felt amazing. It felt almost like empowering, you know? And and so I was grateful this morning, remembering that moment when I first came across that photograph and what it meant for me. And I was grateful this morning, realizing that presence and that companionship is here between us. So I wanted to bring it, and I wanted to to lead us into remembering that moment when I was in your lap, and also the moment when I first kind of conceived or conceptualized of our brothership, of our brotherhood. So I wanted to invite you to reflect about that.
No, hermano. The medicine of remembering the love, the implicit love. Oh my. Well, that's one good reason to have pictures.
That's true.
um, oh, that's amazing, man. Just taking a moment here to feel my body, the front of my body and my legs as a space, like the feeling of sitting there in that kind of care. And then also as I remember myself being young, there's this sense that also this care in this very young little body, you know, this care in this young little body, in the sense of like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, like this is what we do, you know, we hold each other.
You were
This is
holding
what we
me.
do. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is
Do
what
you
we do. I
remember
hold
that
you.
photo?
You know, I remember, I think I do. I think I have a mixture of two different pictures because I remember the tennis shoes. I remember, um, yeah, I do remember a little bit. I'm
Yeah.
mixing. I have a couple of different pictures of other moments also. There's
Mm.
another picture of us where I believe that you're wearing a little Superman costume and that
Mm.
you're sitting on a couch, but we're also, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
as a parenthesis, maybe we will bring some photos of us at some point here
Exactly,
to share.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, we actually might be able to you might be able to see it like now
Hmm.
for those who are watching because we might be able to take pictures and actually put it in.
If we edit it
Um
in, yeah,
if
yeah.
we edit it in. Yeah, totally. Oh, hermano, but just to feel the nurturance of the warmth, the feeling in my body kind of like oh, my loving nature. My loving nature. That love that unites us resides in me in that way. It's like, it's very
Yeah.
sweet,
Part
hermano.
part of your nature. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, thank you for sharing, hermano. That's
yeah, of course. Of course.
so
Um,
sweet to feel. So sweet to feel. And then also maybe like a reminder to us all, a reminder to us all that how what what might be beneath the the usual way of looking at the pictures of our childhood or the even they don't have to be pictures but the memories.
mhm,
And if we can take a little time to do something like this, like to meditate with with something, to really let it in, and that it does not have to be anything, quote, that there is something spectacular in the mundane,
mhm, mhm,
that there's something beautiful in the mundane. It's not, doesn't have to be anything else. In fact,
yeah.
we are we are the part of the ground of our own becoming. And so we are the love that makes it possible for us to exist.
Mhm.
And that has a miracle feeling to it.
It does. It does, and the opportunity to allow ourselves to inquire into that substance
Mhm.
in those memories, in those
Exactly.
images that may not always shout out
Mhm.
significance to us, but that there's
Exactly.
something there. Yeah. And
There's
go
one more thing relative to the picture. I don't know if you want to say something else.
no go ahead.
I'm just in the moment. I'm feeling the presence of either our mom or our dad
Mhm.
that were behind the camera.
Yes.
That they saw. And they were like, this here is important.
It's powerful.
It's very beautiful. So touching. So touching. Yeah, the
Yeah,
love.
it reminds me of something that we were talking about in a previous episode, maybe in the being held one, because in that one, my invitation was to remember what it was like to be held. And in that picture, I was being held by you. But also, there's a kind
Mm,
of holding that you're referring to, in that our mom, probably, maybe our dad, but probably our mom, took the picture, and that there was a kind of holding there of
mm, mm,
capturing us,
mm,
and of like celebrating and valuing us,
mm,
and that
mm,
it's easy sometimes to fall into a state where we may not remember that that happened, like we,
mm,
you know.
mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm, mm. That may have not happened.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm sensing you and I have also been witnessing some pretty heavy parts of our family recently. And and there's something in this context here of being able to both that well, both the part of the heaviness that we've been witnessing and the difficulty that we might get into later in this episode, there is a there's a in the moment of the contact with what's really hard,
Hmm.
what's actually really, really hard, then there is a shining of a light of the importance and the significance of the love. And and in that experience of the importance and the significance of the love, another piece that you and I have been not knowingly, we just kind of like found out this morning that we've been also meditating a little bit on death
Yeah.
because there's a relationship here between that preciousness that is like, oh my goodness, the preciousness here in our relationship and that we're able to share. And then there's the sense of almost like a feeling of like the limitations of how much I'm able to take you in and to really, and then the awareness and the experience that we have from both people in our own family, very well, our own mother, our aunt, our different people that have passed away, our grandparents, and that there's this awareness of this. Like I found myself meditating this week on specifically on the sense of accepting my own death
Mm.
more, and then the death of everything around me, including you. And so there's this theme that you also were bringing, and so I just found the
Yeah.
the thread there. In
Absolutely. Yeah, there's well, you touched on the thread very, very skillfully,
mm,
because what I feel is the relevance is the 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 power that love has to bring us closer to death, and or maybe it's also the power of death to bring us closer to love.
mm.
And
Ooh, wait. Let that one ring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just say it again.
Yeah. The power of love to bring us closer to death, and the power of death to bring us closer to love. And after I was after I was doing that exercise this morning and remembering and thinking about us in that picture, maybe also in the context, like you said, of having lost our mom,
Mm.
or having been there for her death, that there's an invitation in witnessing death to really live. Obviously, like, oh, let's, like, I'm gonna savor this breath. And so as I was thinking about us in that picture, it made me almost unspeakably grateful that we have one another, and also invited me to really savor and to really,
Mm.
like, let's
Mm.
let's let us blossom fully.
Mm.
And that was also in the realization that we're going to die, you know,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
we're going to witness each other's deaths in
Yeah.
some regard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so that's what
Mm.
I wanted to bring
Hermano.
that.
My
As a,
my like Sufi like master brother. I'm not saying this just Marco, I mean, we both love feel very loved by various piece parts of Sufism, but there's something about you, hermano, that you have this implicit love and perfume of like, like flowers, like very sweet flowers when you speak about even very difficult things. Yeah. Yeah. And there's an impetus here that is very powerful that you're naming. And before riding that wave with you, um, I sense that there's also another visitor here with us in the theme of the conversation. And this is that for a very, very long time, I have lived and I've watched it play out in many, many, most, maybe the great majority of relationships that um, that death is something bad, that death is something to not look forward to, that death is something to. And when I heard you say, well, obviously when we take it in, it's this beautiful gift, and I'm like, and there's just, it touched a part of me that I I wish that it was more obvious in the world. I wish so deeply that it was more obvious in the world that, and that's one of the gifts that are also our Mexican ancestry hold for us with Day of the Dead, Dia de Muertos, and like the beautification and the looking and instead of looking away. But there's something just very intense there about I want to like emphasize just by on the one hand saying that I know what it's like to have my huge parts of my life be run by trying to run away from death. Not just in me, but also that death is like even when somebody's dying, when like the way that we relate, it's like there's certain distances that are a little bit easier to be like, oh, I'm going to be with that death, and certain distances where it's kind of like it's very strange. It's like it's an acquaintance or it's somebody, something happens, and it's like this middle ground that's a little bit easier for me to see and to feel when it is that I'm distancing myself from the spirit of death and the reality of it, and that I'm just kind of like not, and the piece that you're bringing here, man, that is so powerful and just you are you are showing, you're like demonstrating the medicine of death with your words. That death is a revelation. That the even the experience of ending is a revelation. And when we look at it as something that we shouldn't, we close ourselves from one of the most precious parts that exist in life, as far as I can tell. And so on the one hand, how critically important it is to be able to bring more online in our culture, in our like our, in the culture that we're around, all the resistances to death on the one hand, so much resistance. Um, and and then also, then my brother, to join you in what you were saying, because I feel you joining with me with everything that I'm saying, but just to join you in what you were saying before, which is this is part of the realized, like, the miracle, the sense of the miracle, that it's like I've heard myself speak these words before and I'm about to say them again, and there's still like a little bit of a like a little twist in my mind that sounds a little weird, that there's something that I have been able to experience that is similar to the kind of language you were just talking about, in terms of allowing kind of like death to open and to reveal and to be able to come into contact with the preciousness of, like, the beauty of life, the real beauty and the real importance in life, like all of that, that there's something here of, we, by talking about death, by being like neighbors of death in the way, or just having it be like a visitor, we are in the presence of a beautiful, beautiful healing, like archetype, or nature. And that I've been able, I mean, I say that because of the experience. Similarly, when our mother died,
Mhm.
there was a part of me that I felt like I needed to defend myself from being destroyed.
Mhm.
And that looked like not looking, not talking, closing down, shutting down, and things that looked like spending like 10 years going by before addressing certain significant layers. As a psychotherapist, as a psychotherapist, 10 years. And so there's something here, Mano, that my sense is that there is a, like, it's like a spirit of death that is this incredible medicine of revelation. When I really drink in the sense of your own, like, that I don't know, the reality that I don't know that you will be, alive by who knows when, and that I
Mhm.
can really accept that more, you become more precious to me. We become more precious to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. There's a few beautiful threads here, but let's let it ring a little.
Mm.
Mm. Let's let it land, seep through, and really soak. Yeah. I On one level, I feel that that this conversation and this process is is part of that revelation that you're describing, that that death invites us to, and that here we are becoming more willing to show ourselves through the
Mhm.
significance and and through the substance that we can mutually touch. So
Mm.
yeah, so
Mm.
there's that part which I kind of just feel like doing a little shimmy or
Mm.
celebrating, because
Mhm.
showing up more and having less reticence to have my experience be visible and readily witnessed
Mm.
is something
Mm.
that I have wanted,
Mm.
and something that little by little I'm poking my head through to a different
Mhm.
kind of territory where it's okay uh, to be what I am,
Mm.
and and then and I want you to respond to that, but I also just want to mention very briefly that the incredible significance that you described in the revelation of death is ubiquitous. It's it's for everyone, and it's for every being, and it's
Yeah.
for every
Yeah.
moment. So I wanted to give it that dimension because I've
Yeah.
and yeah, just to allow for that the
Yeah.
substance to really exist
Mm.
throughout the expanse of our experience and throughout our world and throughout everything. Yeah.
Mm. It's a meditation. Yeah, to allow no one is not touched
Yeah.
by death.
Yeah, and every life and every death, of which there are many, hold that significance that
Mm.
you illuminated. Yeah.
That that preciousifying or that kind of that unconditional shining eyes of recognition of the goodness that is here through the experience of being us, like completely us, not as an observer but as a participant.
Mm.
As a participant. Yeah. 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 Yeah, I feel there's, oh, that medicine. And it's also, I feel also as we're speaking here. I feel like another visitor. That is like this it's this like experience of it's like, "Oh, Marco y Adrián, you speak oh so beautifully about death." You know, like it's so beautiful and so expansive, and it looks like it, and it feels like it, like this, and yet, like, what is all of that other stuff that has been inside of the label of death? That is, what is all of that? You know, like, what is all of that?
Right.
Yeah, what is all of that? So I just, not that we need to try to do anything about that, but I just feel
Yeah.
the the
No, but
presence.
it does connect, I think, very much with um, another thing that we were going to talk about, which I touched on already a little bit, which is the unwillingness to show oneself and the
Mm.
the experiences in which I don't feel like I want my experience to be known,
Mhm.
to be witnessed, to be felt, to be seen.
Oh, oh my. Yeah. We're something that is happening like a little bit meta is that you and I, my brother, we're learning how to be of service more and more, basically through these conversations. We do not wish to um we wish to trim the noise, and to bring messages that are more and more of service.
Hmm.
And in that process, we are, yeah, it's so beautiful. It's that beauty that also that we are. That beauty that we are, Michael. My mind as well, just accept that a little bit more. And that in this particular episode, we took a little moment at the beginning to feel a little bit of the threads, like just a little more openly, and to see if there's like a story that we want to organize a little. Because as listeners that have listened to our episodes, you might notice that we also deeply honor and respect the emergence of life, and also that we do not wish to, this is not going to ever be a podcast where we will be giving like dry lectures. If we ever give a lecture, it's going to be pregnant with life and like ranges of emotionality and and all of that. Um and so we're playing that dance because we talked a little bit about some themes that we might be discussing. And as we're navigating here, you might even hear certain moments in which we're kind of like, oh, and then this connects here a little bit. And so there's a very living process where you just heard me say something like, oh, I'm feeling this other visitor here, but I don't, we don't need to talk about it. It's like, in other words, like, I don't necessarily know how that connects with the rest of the things we're planning to talk about. But then you, my brother. And so we're doing this. We're feeling and we're caring. We're caring. And so I just wanted to be open about that we are practicing caring.
We're
Yeah.
caring.
Yeah.
We're caring.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. Little by little, we're caring little more.
A little more. A little more. A little more.
Thank you. That's
Yeah, of course, hermano.
fun to have
That's
that.
beautiful.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
so
it
then
occurred to
you
me.
made that connection. You go ahead. I mean, I can go with that, or you can go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
go with it. I mean, I think I'd love for you to reflect a little bit about that subject that I touched and then that I was bringing back up about the moment in which we are unwilling, but I think uh,
Unable is better. Yeah.
unable
Unable. Yeah.
to be seen and to really show ourselves.
I'm crying, or like I feel joy and sadness at the same time because my my dream, or the dream that I am being dreamed, like that's how, more like how it feels for this podcast, is specifically that I feel in my soul, I feel this longing to that we all need to learn how to be able to reveal ourselves to each other and to be real, really as real as we can.
Let's do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And right now as you introduce this theme, my brother, is like this is very real.
Hmm.
And I'm on the one hand, I'm just so excited to be able to be talking about things that are difficult, like that are really, and to really be bring that realness.
Yeah.
There's something there that feels like, oh, I just want to throw myself in the arms of life.
Mm.
And
I
so,
mean, it's
yeah,
good.
the challenge. Being unable, not unwilling. We've been talking about it as unwilling. Um, but there's a little tinge right there of the child that says it's my fault.
Hmm.
It's like I am, oh no 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 no, not unable. I am unwilling.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, totally, totally, completely unable. Not just unable, chained to a relational field of like that the real sense of possibility and impossibility and the threats of survival and connection and what it means to love and everything
Yeah.
implicitly meant that we should not show ourselves like very clearly as it pertained to very specific parts of our beings um parts of our beings. Yeah. Um, and so let's tread slowly in a way to be able to honor the layers here. I can feel myself.
Yeah.
I can feel myself here.
Yeah.
So, do you want to say something? Because I just said all that.
No, no. Well, no, I appreciate I think the energy, and obviously it's something that has a lot of aliveness in both of us, and in you, and in me, and and yeah, I mean, you brought up the word impossibility. I think in the context of what feels um, like when we have the experience of there's something that is impossible, and and that is a very heavy, very determining um, component to have present in anybody's experience, and if, obviously
Oh,
as
God.
a completely dependent infant to feel like there is no alternative, but in my case, for instance, um, becoming the flaw, or becoming
Oof.
the the wrongness, and um, so yeah, that's kind of diving into the
That's so clear, man.
you know.
I'm just if for anybody that can't see us or is, our faces because you're listening to the audio version, and if you hear me laughing, it's because oh my goodness, Hermano. I mean, just you speak so clearly about the experience. The sheer level of like it's like a magnetic force that is so strong. The determinants that is inside there is so intense. The
Yeah,
implicit, the implicit and also all the reasons why it should never be spoken about.
that's very important.
Yeah.
Very, very
Yeah, it just
important.
makes things worse. I mean, in the child's experience,
Yes,
in our
yes, because there's nothing to be done. So
there's
why?
nothing to, it's actually, that's the experience. There's nothing to be done. So why would we talk about it? Why would we talk about it? Yeah. Wow. Why would we talk about it? Yeah. I mean, well, that really, there's two things here. What one is, at some point during this conversation, we might talk a little bit more about the prevalence of that in our world, and that as like the roots of war, of so much suffering in our world, the that very exact experience of it is impossible. And so it's kind of it's so crazy. So crazy. It is impossible, and so then it makes sense to be violent.
Yes.
That's how it makes sense to be violent.
It
The
makes perfect
alternative
sense.
the alternative to accept the revelation of each other, and I call it not just to accept who we are. I mean, it's the revel because we are revelation. We are alive. And that the implicitness of that is that if we are not making space for the fountain of becoming that we each all are, all of that energy needs to be pushed down, needs to be put somewhere, something needs to be done, and it takes a hell of a lot of energy to push down um, that the aliveness that we are. And that's the source of probably a lot of illness, um, as far as I understand. Wow.
Yeah. Um, there's a lot there. There's a lot. There's a lot
There's
there.
a lot there. Yeah.
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 And just to acknowledge that, mentioning things like war and violence, and I think in this container with you, I feel resourced, but I want to acknowledge that there are a lot of
Mm.
very bleak, very hopeless, very destroyed experiences that are out there right now.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
I love it, hermano, that you say that right now. Like that's the I wish to just highlight that may that be a part of greater culture, like what you're doing right now. That just checking in to see if there's space and and to acknowledge and to be able to say that you have space in you and that I can feel in myself. Just a moment to just even actually ask the question, of what I feel open to.
yeah,
That
yeah,
care.
yes, Adriano, thank you. And what I feel also is that I am here learning with you that
Mm.
touching these subjects
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
not a reason to limit me showing my experience.
I just feel I feel the experience of like a lot of my life where I have not been aligned with what you just said, and in a lot of people's lives also, and and so that I feel kind of like this sense of um, that is true when we are adults with each other.
Yeah.
That is true when we are adults. We are
Yeah.
adults enough with each other.
Yeah. And just to include
Go ahead.
that I'm learning. That's all. I'm learning.
It's the learning, yeah, totally. That's the oh hermano, it's so beautiful. But you see you, Marco, you speak the future. You speak the future. And what I mean by that, I don't mean I don't mean the like feel my need to explain myself for people who might not understand. Um
No, just go for it. Just do it. Just
yeah. Yeah. I just what I mean by the future is that I feel you pretty often, and this is part of why, when I reflect to you, this is, and I will keep on reflecting to you probably. Um, you, the way you speak about this feels like an invitation for a better life
Mhm.
because you speak about it with such clarity. It's so direct. It's so clear and direct. And so there's like an element here about because what was the words is like I allow myself to realize that I need not hide myself,
Mhm.
even in the circumstances where
Yeah.
people may be more available or less available, that there's something here that is the actual showing of ourselves is a gift.
Yeah.
Especially when there's enough space. Not here. I'm not talking about just barfing on somebody. Or
Yes,
yeah,
totally.
yeah,
Totally.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if you're between showing yourself and barfing on someone or not showing yourself to not barf on, then definitely barf on someone.
Barf on someone. Yeah,
Well,
yeah. I mean, allow
I mean
yourself to. Yeah,
without like hurting
yeah,
someone, but
yeah.
you know,
Without hurting and
yeah,
without putting yourself at risk
that's
in a
right.
way that.
That's those are important caveats.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Mm.
but in this culture, yeah. Oh my goodness, take the risk. Well,
Take the
definitely in
risk.
this container here, that's
Take the
we
risk.
keep on doing that, and that's been very generative for us. Um, wow. So, we are learning right now in 2026. We are learning to include our own individual, personal shapes. And like they're not just shapes, they're like identities, like very specific identities that have spanned years and years and years all the way through into our childhood and are functioning towards like productivity, towards basically doing anything. Anything. School, work, friendship, relationship, like very foundational identification, like identities, places where we were taught and we were learned um some like hiding material, like hiding technology, like very intense hiding technology.
Yeah, hiding
And
skills. Oh my
very
God.
very yeah, very nifty hiding skills, like very oh my God. And And so basically what you and I have been talking, some of, just to tell the story a little bit, we have been, Marco and I have been basically feeling this longing to bring our love into the world, and we in our own ways. I first wanted to be a tennis player, then like Marco's been like a musician, went to school for music and all these things. I all the things, but we've been felt tons of longing to do all kinds of things, as you may imagine, with our minds and the way that we are. We've had dreams upon dreams upon dreams of things to do, and desires and longings, not just as work, also in relationships, and in our family, also in our family. We wanted to do this podcast. This we probably, I don't know, we talked about doing this podcast maybe, I don't know how many years, like years ago. We knew, like we felt it and we were like, oh yes. And then we spent like 5 years, I don't know how long, not wanting to reveal ourselves. And so now here we are on the podcast, ready to get into it. Ready to get into it. And this is also to say, as we start to navigate, and we start to actually talk about the parts that these relational ways of hiding and of perpetuating suffering, um or just very long processes of healing that include a tremendous amount of suffering. Um, we here, yeah, we're here because of all of the love. So as we talk about all the challenges and all these different things, and the trauma that was passed down transgenerationally and the different things, there who is talking right now is the love that was nurtured, that how we nurtured each, like that moment that you were sitting on my lap, like all of the moments in which our parents loved us to such a beautiful degree that we are here, basically, with all of these things. And so
Yeah.
I first wanted to just acknowledge the love. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely necessary and
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
appropriate.
Hmm. Hmm.
Appropriate because I think we also are acknowledging the experience of not wanting to be. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, um, I guess the more recent story is that healing begets healing, which is really nice. Um, which is also like life begets life.
Mm-hmm.
And you, my dear brother, have been on a, like, you've been doing some like profound investigations of yourself recently. And, and for anybody who, well, anyways, I will pause myself there, but you've been doing some profound investigations that would bring anybody down to the knees of love and gratitude of feeling the service, because you have been giving service to life through doing that. Yeah. And that's,
It
and in
means
you,
a
my
lot.
brothers.
It means
Yeah,
so
my
much.
brother.
Thank you. It means I'm
Yeah.
moved just to hear you, to
It's
feel
so
seen in that
profound.
process.
Oh, and for people who might already, my clients, any clients who've heard me, or heard might be listening, or anybody, people who've worked with me, it is the parts of me that I've been loved and the parts that I've healed that make me available to be able to be of any help,
Mm-hmm.
basically. And you, my brother, have been doing some amazing, amazing, amazing. I want to come up with a better, like a good, not a better, I don't actually have one, but like a good, like metaphor. But you've been basically, it's like you've been living a life in which you set the space and you make the time to actually be with the parts, not just well, with everything exactly as it is. You've been doing that. And and so that looks like meditating. It looks like feeling super deeply and super lucidly and then writing about it and then making music about it and then sharing with me about it and with whomever anybody else. And on one of those occasions, my brother, you recently shared some of what you had been revealing with our father.
Yes, I did.
That is what happened. And then, as a result of that, our father felt the motivation to attempt to gift us with some information about a way in which he had hurt our mom when we were very little, that might have, or very likely that impacted, I mean, I'm saying this is part of how it was shared, that impacted us, that impacted us. And in the way that it impacted our mother very deeply, and it impacted our family like very deeply.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also right now I'm using the word it. And by it I want to make something very clear. The moment that our father came and shared as it about having hurt our mom, that moment in many situations could be a moment of great shame for him, or of, or for anybody, if we superimpose it in any place. Tons and tons of, like, you should have your tail behind your legs, basically, like, like that experience, basically. And what I want to be very clear about, or as clear as I know how, is that that harm that happened was not an isolated event. That harm had roots in it that have to do with the way that our ancestry, our parents, and also that I know of roots that are not just on my dad's side, but also on my mom's side of the family. And that when I say it, I mean that ancestral love mixed with very specific challenges of not knowing how to be in life and actually be present with each other.
Mm.
Like a certain amount of distance from the revelation we were talking about that death
Mhm.
can
Mhm.
initiate. And so and so so you and I, my brother, just like less than a week ago, I think it's less than a week ago, right? Yeah, it's like a little, like, yeah. Last Saturday. Right
Yeah.
now is Friday. Um, we received this information about this hurt, and for both of us, and we can both talk about it. Yeah, we suddenly basically felt and realized that ways in which we have been hiding in
Mm.
our lives and banging our heads against life for decades
Yeah.
was the shape that stuckness was us being the the problem, like us trying to be the problem that our parents did not know how to be with each other, to deal with and to actually love and include.
Yeah.
And so you and I, my brother, suddenly became aware now these words, that we're metabolizing little by little, but just the sense of how incredible, like just how foundationally in most intimately at our base we've been holding a sense of being like unwantable, and also like super problematic, also like almost um like a liability, like an implicit, like identifying like a liability, like who I am is a liability to those around me, as it pertains partially and how it's resided in my being in the shape of without talking about it, have really not wanted to be a man very intensely. I've not want, and not just that, I haven't wanted to accept very specific layers of my own aliveness and my own desire. I haven't been wanted to share my desires. I haven't wanted to share my own dreams and the really from inside me. And so there's something here basically that is this past and this piece of this acknowledging. Now it's coming to light, like it's really coming to light. um I'll also bookmark that about 3 weeks ago, before this conversation happened, I also have been processing like this unwantedness in my own being, and so we somehow it's happening to us also.
Mm.
It's happening to us. Yeah, yeah. And so
Yeah.
um yeah, and so we for decades and in adulthood have felt like super stuck in all kinds of ways. um yeah.
Yes.
partially because of this very specific
Yes.
identification of,
Yes.
yeah.
Identification, that it's I think that it's such a useful way to speak about it because it's describing the reality that you identify as. Identify meaning equal to.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Nice. Oh yeah, that's very nicely said.
you're identical to, and I became the reason in my experience, I was the reason, I concluded I was the reason that my mom was devastated and disappointed.
And
And
disappointed, super disappointed. Oh my God, so much disappointment. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
and I was and I also was the reason to not trust. And I was feeling that this morning. I came upon this realization somehow of like, yeah, I'm untrustworthy.
Or untrustworthiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm connecting it now to the experience that my mom was having of a world that can't be
Mm-hmm.
trusted.
Ooh, a
And
world that cannot be trusted. Oh my God.
yeah, so I'll just let that simmer and
Simmer.
also just invite
Oh
us
God.
to, yeah, well, me, that to
Yeah.
just realize that yes, I am untrustworthy, meaning I thought and I experienced myself as the source of that untrustworthiness,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but the world was also not to be trusted. Like my world was also not, like at some point I
Right.
also
Right.
don't trust. I don't trust
No.
myself.
No.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Although we try, you know,
we try. Yeah.
we try to
We
trust the world.
try. Well, and now that you say that, I'll go to
Yeah.
where I landed when I was having these thoughts this morning
Nice. Nice.
is that as I thought this, like I'm not to be trusted because I'm a disappointment and I disappoint myself and I disappoint others.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but then I realized that there was a little tiny warmth just starting to blossom in me that told me that I was not beyond love, that I was not beyond reconciliation,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
that
Yeah.
that alone was reason to try again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. That is survival.
Yeah.
That is what life is.
Yes, that's the thrust of life. But it's interesting because at a different stage of my development, the thrust of life led me to conclude that I was the flaw.
Yeah.
And it's,
Yeah.
and so anyway, I'm just as I'm piecing together my own psychic
Yeah.
trajectory, I'm just noticing the ways that that striving for life or that push towards life and survival manifests in the context of being part of something greater than oneself. In that, and specifically, I mean being part of my mom,
Mm-hmm.
being part
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
of a
Mm-hmm.
relationship,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Mm-hmm.
then it became also this pushing towards belonging, toward being part of something greater, being part of the world, being part of.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so,
Yeah.
but yeah, the
Mm.
I just wanted to name the experience that
Yeah.
that I absorbed as a result of my mom having those experiences, our mom having those experiences, very intense experiences that I'm sure linked to her own development, to her own childhood, to her own family history, history of
Can
loss.
you repeat this thing that you said, the thing that then you said, I'm sure, what you were just saying right now? Can you repeat that part? Because the audio, I'm not sure if it just cut out for me or
Oh,
for everybody.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure, what was I saying? I'm sure of, oh, that I'm sure it links the experience that I'm now realizing that my mom was having as as a child and that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was absorbing, um, that experience linked to her development, to her childhood,
Oh, yeah.
or to
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
her
Mm-hmm.
family history
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
heritage, etc. And
Mm-hmm.
so that connects, clearly with also what you were speaking to, which is this greater kind of relational web
Mm-hmm.
that these experiences are all nested,
Embedded. Mm-hmm.
embedded,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
embedded
Mm-hmm.
in.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, that's beautiful, hermano. That is the cycle of life. That is the cycle of life. I'm sensing that that's part of what it is that you're implicitly highlighting also.
mm,
That
mm,
when we're little, we we are the love that is surviving, and that the we're also the love that is trying to chew on and be part of life by trying on, identifying and being like, oh, what if I'm a little bit like that,
yeah.
and trying it on. and and it also can be, we can do it very completely, like meaning it can be a lot of trying. um it Because my sense is that's the evolutionary impulse. We're always, that's also part of why I think that that's part of why it's so easy, so much easier to talk about problems than it is to talk about successes. Not just because, it's also because there's a hunger to actually deal with the liabilities, and so that we can be together and we can evolve
Yeah.
and grow. And there's something here that as you're naming it, that I can feel the love, like that you can feel the love that you are. And then you can also feel the way that this is where it can get really, like, um kind of like difficult to see and to feel and to recognize, but that a part of my love, a part of my love has been hiding inside believing myself to be unworthy. Like part of my love.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And so there's like a sense of like, oh, in believing that I am unworthy, that I am a liability, that I shouldn't be who I am, that I shouldn't be who I am, that inside of those experiences, and that is a is like an implicit devotion to connection and to life, connection to life. Yeah. And the freedom that can come by being able to be really with each other,
Mhm.
really, really with each other, and to accept. And it's like oxygen,
Yeah.
you know, feels like oxygen to be able to be like, yeah, I've been. I've been holding the like unworthiness and the sense of being a liability or even being poisonous, identifying as being poisonous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so that we're breathing some oxygen there, there, so that, yeah, there's like an unscrambling that I sense like in here, like inside here. The scrambled part is like, oh no, like this thing that I am carrying or whatever the story is bad, and no, it doesn't really belong in life, and
Mm-hmm.
no, it's not very good for me to share, and no, like all these different kinds of things. That there's something here to like to honor all of that, all of those like no, 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 no. So that we can actually find connection in these places, in these places, in these places that have been so central to our lives,
Yeah.
so central. It's like
So
I prefer.
central and so
Mm-hmm.
present without being necessarily seen, or, or definitely not being seen,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but present. And that's it's like a kind of paradox, kind of in a way, like the heaviness and the impact
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
something that is not recognized. And
Exactly.
and
That
I'm bringing,
connects to
yeah.
the other thing, but we can go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, no. I mean,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say something because yesterday I was I found myself on Google Maps as I frequently do, and or no, actually, I was led to Google Maps because I typed in our grandmother Janet's name into Google, into, search bar, whatever, Janet Averill Roberts Blair, and but I just typed in, Janet Blair or whatever, Mexico, and a couple of documents actually came up, and I was led to a document that had her naturalization form and her
Mm-hmm.
entry into Brazil. Weirdly, I don't know why. Like, I guess maybe they went there. I don't want this to be like a digression, but what happened is that I found her address and I found the name of the village which she was born in, which I think you went to,
Yeah,
right?
I went to, yeah.
And so I went onto Google Maps and I saw the village just from above. And I
You
saw
saw the roads and the buildings.
exactly the roads and the building, and then I saw the forest, and I saw there was a river, and it just invited me to be there and to be
Wow.
her in a way.
Wow.
And so, as maybe we're coming to the close of today's conversation, I just wanted to mention this because there's something magic that happens when we use our love and our imagination to lead us into the lives of people that are a part of us.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that was and it
Yeah.
was a profound experience. I found myself
Hmm.
quite connected and moved. Um, and I think it helped me also because um, coming back to the subject of not wanting to show oneself and of not wanting
Yeah.
to be,
Yeah.
she was someone who had a tremendous amount of pain and who died young and died when our mother was quite young, and who was carrying
Hmm.
and numbing a lot of pain, and
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
and that's
Hmm.
what she outwardly kind of did a lot.
Hmm.
I guess, and she kind of died in those circumstances
Hmm. Hmm.
of numbing.
Hmm.
So
Alcoholism.
yeah, and yeah,
And
drinking that away, or trying to, and because I feel the love in my heart that also wants to be of service, I'm here recognizing that there's been a part of me that hasn't wanted to exist.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
and there's also this part of me here that is taking the risk or taking the chance of reaching out to others with that experience of mine,
Mhm.
and just
Mhm.
knowing that it's real in the world,
Mhm.
and and destigmatizing and
Mhm. Yeah, de-alonifying. Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
yes, the alonifying. So
Mhm. Mhm.
so that just came to
Mm.
me right now, and I wanted to share it because you've been to this village,
Mm.
and also our grandmother is someone that, because our grandfather remarried, and because our mom's stepmom actually became her real mom who reared
Mhm.
her
Mhm.
and had a
Mhm.
huge presence in her life, then
And ours.
we haven't had,
Mhm.
well, at least I haven't emphasized so much this person,
Mhm.
this
Mhm.
human who's,
Mhm.
who's our
Mhm.
grandma.
Mhm.
And so there's something about that
Mhm.
process of recovery and of integrating the not wanting to be that
Totally.
that
Totally.
is
Totally.
that feels
Connected.
relevant to all of this. And of course, there's going to be a lot of time to continue to explore, and there's a lot here. So
Totally.
I
Totally.
did want to.
That's great, hermano. That's great. Yeah. Yeah, that's I love it. It's like remember together.
Hmm.
Remember together. There's a sense of yeah, seems to be part of the nature of existence, that existence is learning and growing and through us as us, and we're trying to include more of what's actually happening, what's real. There's like this impulse to be real. And
Yeah.
and so there's a connection here with the whole unwillingness or not unwillingness but lack of capacity to be able to actually show that here part of what we're reframing in a different way is just that all of that language of numbing and of separation and of silence and neglect and everything, shaming and pain and all of that we are here at a moment in human civilization where there's an opportunity to create a culture where we can learn how to be with all of these parts that our ancestors didn't know how to be with, basically.
Yes. Amen.
Yeah,
Yes.
and in reality, there is no other way. There is absolutely no other way. Doesn't matter the dream, doesn't matter the career, doesn't matter any moment that we are trying to become more successful, more something to manifest something in the world, etc. We are bringing all of ourselves with us and all of our ancestry with us. And and so there's something here about well, if it's happening, maybe some, if that's what's happening, then maybe some of the implicit aloneness and implicit difficulty in the culture of like, why is it so hard? And that we can talk to each other so much about things that are so hard, etc., but it doesn't move, is partially because of this, because of the layers of the separation and everything, and that in a moment like this where you invoke our grandmother, Janet, who held a story of a lot of pain for our mother and our aunt, and that we, at least, and maybe also others, but um, that, yeah, that we're bringing space, some space to be able to honor her, and that in the honoring of her, when I hear you speak about the buildings and the roads and then the river and the forest, that as you name all those pieces, there's a way in which we are paying respects.
Mm.
We are paying respects. We are saying, I am of you. I am of you. You
Yeah.
you are my grandmother. You are our grandmother. And so here we maybe just take a moment to do that, to just to acknowledge and to say, the consciousness, the of our grandmother, Janet, Averill, Roberts, Blair, that we are of you, and we are grateful to you, and we're chewing on the hard stuff and trying to learn how to love.
Yes.
Trying to learn how to love. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, thank you for that moment and that prayer. I want more prayer. And the my my feeling now is to to be grateful because this process of opening and of revealing and of using the very constraints that we experience as the seed and the birth of of a new freedom, um, having these gestures um, be be of service, be for love, and and be in any possible iteration that we might have fun or that we might deem necessary or desirable because there is music and because there are paintings or sculptures and dance and any number of gestures that can be a part of this, including these little sharings that you and I are doing here. these
Mm-hmm.
little these little weavings.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. These little bowings to our souls, to our nature, to include. Hmm. Yeah. Wonderful. May it be so, hermano. May it be so. May all of this life be of service to more and more of life. Yeah. Wow. Well, um, trying to feel here if there's anything else I don't it's important before we close. Hmm. Yeah, maybe just a moment to also um I feel like we just, obviously named our grandma, and that I can feel the presence of our family, like the greater family, like including on our mother and our grandparents on that side, and our father and his parents and the siblings, and simply it's just a moment of I just felt hungry to say that, just like it's almost like a Google Mapsing, like a little like location, like a
Yeah.
ping inside of existence. It felt important to just name or acknowledge the
Hmm.
yeah humans, the other humans. And, yeah, yeah.
You've recognized a number of important visitors today.
Hmm. Oh, that's part of how I try to love, try to be of service. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you, hermano.
Thank you, Adriano.
Thank
I
you.
love you.
I love you too. I love you too. And may for all the listeners, may you be well. And and also feel free to share with us anything that the impact, the sense, but
Yeah.
also the experience, just the experience. As we learn, as we're learning, we're putting all this to in an attempt to love you. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Until next time. Oh, our current plan, we had shifted before. We haven't said this overtly, but our episodes, we had initially been doing live episodes on Mondays, and now what's happening is that we are doing recordings, and then we will. The plan is to be publishing a new episode most Mondays, if not maybe every Monday, but we'll see most Mondays. And so that's the part of the plan for you all. And yeah, anything else logistical, hermano? It's like,
No,
yeah,
no, thank you. Just
yeah,
just invite everyone um, to share if they want to, and to or
yeah,
to get in touch with us. You don't even have to do it publicly, but get in touch with us.
yeah.
It's always meaningful when we hear from what is brought up by
Hmm.
these moments of intentionality that we share. So
Our email is remtogether@gmail.com. REM together @gmail.com. And we have a page on my site that is adrianlove.com/remember dash together. And there is an opportunity to sign up for our newsletter. And as well as there's information about being able to get in touch with us. Marco's Substack is on there, and my website. And if you're interested, we are also we have other offerings and other things that we're doing in the world. And if you're interested, you can find some of those there. And yeah, thank you, hermano. Thank you.
thank you. Bye.
Bye, bye.